Alright, so I'm finally going to get around to talking about Ahsoka. The new trailer dropped, and you know what? I'm just going to say it right now. Dave Filoni said that this is going to be basically Rebels Season 5, and Rebels in general is like required viewing for this. So, I've said this before where I feel like everyone worships Dave Filoni because he's such a, integral part of Star Wars and making, Star Wars really good, and like anyone who isn't Dave Filoni sucks. Here's my thing with Filoni. I think he's a nice guy. I think he's done some really good episodes in Rebels and Clone Wars, and even in the Star Wars era with Mandalorian. But here's the problem I've been recently having with Filoni, especially. And maybe it's just me, and I'm not trying to say he sucks or anything. I'm just saying, like, he's doing this this one thing way too much. Nostalgia bait. It really feels like he's just doing nostalgia bait or, playing in his own sandbox way too much. It really feels like he is depending on your nostalgia for either his shows or Star Wars in general that really makes you that really does feel like like he's just desperately trying to keep you interested in all of this via these ideas, these video, these just kind of nostalgia baiting. And my friend Steven said, my friend Steven Shinder actually pointed this out, massive Star Wars fan, and this is what kind of prompted me to kind of start this off first and foremost, is that what happens if you haven't watched Rebels? Because here's a funny thing about the, and I know you could say, oh, well, every Marvel, MCU fan has watched everything ever. Yeah. That's true, but, like, Star Wars is a different beast from the MCU entirely. You see, Star Wars has a more massive connection with everything, and not every Star Wars fan has watched the animated show. They're like casual moviegoers or TV goers. There isn't it's not like with the MCU where it's shows and TV. And that's all. And that's it. With Star Wars, it's comics, it's shows, it's movies, it's TV, it's animated shows, it's books. Everything is in canon, and so there are people who I know who have not watched Rebels because they were like, well, it's a cartoon. How much impact is it going to have? Well, turns out that's going to have a lot of impact. So, am I trying to say like the Ahsoka show is going to suck right out the gate because of this? No. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to say, like, the Ahsoka TV show is going to suck because of this. I'm not trying to say that at all. What I'm trying to say is, it really does feel like Filoni is just kind of depending more on you watching, because not everyone's watched Rebels, and this is meant to be Rebels Season 5. And there's another thing Filoni's done story-wise that makes me just go, not again, and I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, it just really feels like we are Filoni is once again kind of just like, it's my sandbox, and you have to know everything in my sandbox to understand what's going on. And I'm like, well, not everyone knows that. And I'm sure people are like, oh, Ahsoka, that's cool, I kind of understand from all of that. But there are going to be characters and other things that have been in Rebels that people didn't watch. I mean, a lot of this is probably like if you watch Clone Wars, I'm sure a lot more people watch Clone Wars than Rebels. So, yeah. Now, let's get into that. Let's get into the story itself. The story is that we do get to see Thrawn, and don't get me wrong, if there is one thing I am excited the most for, is to see Thrawn live action. I cannot deny that finally seeing Thrawn in live action as a Star Wars fan, from EU to canon, this is something I've wanted to see. And seeing Lars Mikkelsen, who voiced Thrawn, playing the character live action is really cool. I think it's a massive step up. The effects, the makeup looks really great. And I know I just did a whole thing in the intro of like talking about like nostalgia baiting, but like you have to really put yourself in the perspective of like every Star Wars fan who's wanted to see Thrawn live action. It's cool. Like you got to give us that. But and admittedly, seeing the Ghost Crew live action is really awesome. But then we get to something that makes me go, really? There's like this unspoken tension between Ahsoka and Sabine. Two characters that hardly had any connection with each other, and now they're like, yeah, I tried to teach you, but you didn't listen and you were stubborn. I'm like, wow, we're doing this again, aren't we? Where I talked about how all of Bo-Katan's like stuff we needed to see for the character, like, yeah, we kind of need to address that, like, she was a terrorist and killed people and sided with Maul, you know, the guy who killed her sister and broke her and basically was one of the dominoes to the fall of Mandalore. And we're kind of doing this whole thing of, oh, the important stuff you just need to, we're just gonna like overlook, like we're just not gonna talk about it, and we're just not gonna like build on that. Like I said, Ahsoka and Sabine didn't really have a lot in like interaction. It was more Kanan who trained her in, using the Darksaber. So, and I guess she's using Ezra's lightsaber now, Sabine, I mean. But yeah, I will say it is kind of sad to see Ray Stevenson in here. I am excited for his character and his apprentice. They do mention, he does mention that, yeah, he knew of Anakin before he became Vader. So I'm fascinated to see this Dark Jedi and see that kind of character progress. Sad, like I said, it is sad, though, that Ray Stevenson, the actor, did pass away. I don't know if, he finished shooting that, or there were still some scenes. I don't know, so I don't know how they're going to deal with that. But, yeah. The show, I am interested. I am interested, and I do have a lot of excitement for Thrawn. But like I said, that the big thing you have to really take away from this is that the major thing you have to take away from this is that you really have to be you really have to know your Rebels and know Clone Wars at this point, because everything it just feels like it is almost like Dave Filoni is just just kind of just giving himself a happy hand job to himself, good job, Dave, you've made an expansive Star Wars universe. That's what it feels like. It just feels like he's giving himself a celebratory hand job with this show. Am I still gonna watch it? Unfortunately, yes. I know, I just made this whole thing, but Thrawn's there, and we might get an heir to the Empire. But and yes, I have watched Rebels, I have watched Clone Wars. I'm just saying, if you're a casual Star Wars goer, this isn't like the MCU, where you just need to watch movies and TV shows. There's a lot. And Filoni is notorious for putting a lot in his other stuff. So that's why I'm kind of having a bigger, bigger concern about this. So yeah. But anyway, but we'll just have to see how it goes. It comes out in August, so yeah. But you guys, in the meantime, you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of the Ahsoka trailer? Are you guys excited? Are you guys not? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.